Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, June 29th. It's a beautifully sunny day. It's about 20 minutes after 9, and it's already 85 degrees out in my Mobile garden. Crepe myrtles are in full bloom. We'll see more of those shortly. But of course, we're starting out inside where it's nice and cool. Everything here is looking pretty much the same as last week. I did bring in some other caladiums. Those are Kathleen. I don't remember what those are. Those are the ones we planted earlier this year. Those were the corms or bulbs, I'll just call them bulbs, that I had sprouted, pre-sprouted with some paper towels and water. I'll have to go back to that video to find out what kind they were. At the time, I wasn't planning on having a caladium abundance this year. This is the year of the caladium. We're still getting rains every day. Gets up into the mid-90s, and then usually in the afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 6, we get a downpour, which cools everything down to the low 80s. Of course, it wreaks havoc with the humidity. But here, everything in the front porch is doing fine. Nothing really new of note. I did want to mention, just because we're going to be going out shortly, the crepe myrtles that I have in the front yard sends out a lot of shoots at the base. And it always has. That crepe myrtle is older than I've owned the house, and I've owned the house now for 30 years. So it sends up all kinds of shoots at the base. Well, if you spray them with a weed killer, it's possible, or a brush killer, it's possible it'll go back and kill the actual tree itself. So I found, this was a couple of years ago, sucker punch. I have to buy some more. But what you do is you spray that on the suckers that come out of the ground. Uh-oh, knocked it over. And it just kills the suckers and does not travel up into the tree. So it's good stuff. It's expensive stuff. It's like $30 for that bottle from Walmart, but it does work. As the British would say, it works a treat. I did not plant my hydrangea yet. It's looking a little the worse for wear. It will look a lot worse once when it goes out in the heat. I see a new shoot is coming on my umbrella plant. Schefflera. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. There's a little anole working over the bugs. I still don't see any shoots on my lilies of the Nile, agapanthus, or on this side, but they're still nice and green. My cycad, the female's not doing an awful lot. My tomato's about gone. It does not like the constant moisture, so I'll probably just be moving the mandevilla up from the ground to the top of the table. I might just flip-flop the two. I can hear all is well. The bananas are doing fabulously well. They love, love, love this heat and moisture. The sprout banana is well past the step-on stage. You'd never even know that I did step on that. I do need to do a little selective pruning on my fig tree. All of this fig is new. Somehow I have to get it back into the bush there so it forms a tree. Right now it's all leaning to the front. I'll figure something out. Right now my cleomes have stopped blooming. I don't think they like the constant rain. Some of the caladiums here are coming up, but I don't see any of the new ones that I planted yet. These are the ones from last year. I planted the same ones on top of them this year. I do need to cut that cassia back. I keep saying that and I don't do it. I think I'll quick, oh, looks like the crocosmia is coming back. It's floppy. And the beautiful ones I had in the backyard, the kittens have flattened, but it is a weed, so it's not going to die. Here you can see my crepe myrtle at the street is doing really well. Bananas are a little the worse for wear because we had a lot of winds, and the winds kind of break the leaves up. But the crepe myrtle is looking fantastic. And I still have blooms on my magnolia. It's a winter gem, quote-unquote dwarf magnolia. The opuntia is recovering well. Looks like I may have some fruits. Where there were some flowers, it looks like some fruits are starting to form. And the caladiums that I planted last week, because I had no caladiums here before, are coming up. These are Pink Beauty. I planted them in clusters of 3, simply because there was so much going on in this bed. But you can see what this heat and humidity and rain is doing to caladium bulbs. They just shoot up like crazy. Again, that's 2-week-old bulbs. I planted the same ones in a line in front of my picket fence, in amongst the little mini carnations. But I planted them this week, so they're not coming up yet. Oh, we never went in the back camellia garden. Let's head back there. The palms are coming up nicely. Mediterranean fan palm is thickening up. Now you can see the fact that this one is older than that one, but that one is doing fine. It is thickening out nicely. These caladiums are Fanny Munson, and they are doing fabulously well. They've all pretty much sprouted. Let me show you the size of them next to my hand. I mean, they are absolutely huge. 1, 2, 3, 4 hands long. The winds kind of got to them a little bit, but they're looking beautiful. I planted more Fanny Munsons in here. These others are from last year, and I'm pretty sure that those were Fur Elise, because I planted them sporadically, one here, one over there, one there, one there, because they were expensive at the time when I bought them. But now that the bulbs are down to $1/4 a piece, they're dirt cheap. So I've been stocking up on bulbs. So this is all underplanted with more of these Fanny Munsons. It's looking good here. There's really no real progress on the growing front. The camellias and the azaleas and the 4 osmanthus or tea olives in the back. Really the key thing for the summer is to just keep the little tips cut off. I need to come here with a little light hedge trimming. That cycad has come back with a vengeance, as has this arbor vitae fern. I only planted one about 5 years ago, and it has really spread. Unlike the Japanese painted fern, it does well, but it is the arbor vitae fern is a thug, and it will smother out the Japanese fern. I have to keep it clear. This one is looking really good back in there. Needless to say, it likes the shade, and of course everything likes this constant water and heat that we have had and are having. Doesn't appear to be a break in sight. Terrible painting weather, so that's why you see my mailbox hasn't been painted, and the garage has some touch-ups, which I'll get to. But nothing happening just yet. Of note today, I'll talk about my lemongrass. I have 2 batches of lemongrass, and I was absolutely shocked going next door, across the street. They sell lemongrass, 1 6-inch stalk, like this, just a 6-inch piece of it, for $3.50. I thought, wow, I'm rich. I haven't figured out what to do with lemongrass, but it is a pretty grass. Little sharp on the edges, so you kind of do have to be careful. I did notice this week that my lifetime supply of okra is coming up. I have 3 okra plants there, 3 or 4, which is more than enough for the okra that I eat. Oh, I have an errant zinnia back in, not zinnia, a pink coneflower back in there as well. Those I brought back with me from New York when I sold that garden up there, and they have seeded here and there. Oh, the bees are working over the wandering dude. I cleaned up a lot of wandering dude in the backyard. I think I've all told you before. Some of you may need to be careful. I am one of those people. If I get the sap on my arms, they swell up where the sap was. It kind of looks like poison ivy. However, it clears up in a matter of hours. So it sort of just goes through a stage where it gets puffy and looks nasty, and then it disappears. I've started using that disinfectant alcohol on it, and that seems to allay the itching, because it does itch. This is my Australian tree fern, and it is coming into its own again. So it did make it nicely through the winter. We planted more caladiums here. I planted the same caladiums here that are coming up on the other side of my car. I'll try not to make you dizzy by moving around too much. And herein lies one of the reasons why I don't like to get petunias, because of the weather we're having now. Not a flower to be seen. You can see the tomatoes are looking the worse for wear. I think, like I said, I'll just move the other plant to the top and put the tomato on the ground so it's not quite as apparent. I don't want to kill it. However, I don't want it to be the focal point. This lavender has done really well here. Let me get out of the sun so you can see it. It is huge. It's about 3 or 4 years old. Oh, how can I get at it? I guess I'll have to go around. I see I have a datura, a double purple. This seeded itself from last year. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Well, actually, it's white inside. It's purple on the outside. I have to be careful when I put this phone down. If it goes too horizontal, it shuts off. The creeping thing there is oregano. This is kind of my little Mediterranean area. That's why I planted things in this area in the gravel. And believe it or not, that thyme loves the gravel. Go figure. I have it in pots in the backyard, watered well, and doesn't do as well as being here in the gravel. Hopefully you can see the top of this crepe myrtle is looking fine. Oh, here's what I sprayed. I mentioned sucker punch. In fact, I have to get it and spray again. Here is sucker punch sprayed last week, and there is a sprout that I did not spray. But it had hundreds of little sprouts, well, not hundreds, 50s of little sprouts all around the base of this tree. And you can see even on the tree itself, some of them are brown where I actually sprayed, so it just kills the branch it sprayed on. It doesn't travel up in the tree. The funny thing about crepe myrtles, that one, if you plant them in the lawn, mowing them only ticks them off And you might have 1 or 2 sprouts. Mow them, you're going to have 4 or 6 sprouts. Mow them, you're going to have 12 or 20 sprouts. Mowing them seems to tick them off, and they just multiply. Here we have more Fanny Munson planted. The caladiums, they're not coming up yet. They were just planted on Thursday. I did a row. I wanted to do a bunch on both sides of the sidewalk, but ran out. So I just did a row. There's my, what is that? Toad lily. It's doing well. And the cordyline is finally looking like something, as opposed to a little mini bush. Not much activity on my African iris in pots. It looks nice in pots, but I don't think it's ever going to bloom in a pot. Here I've got the fountains on, I can hear them. You can see the angel's trumpet is humongous. A lot of growth on my Pieris japonica. I have let this Virginia creeper, which is a weed for us. Sarah, my neighbor next door, doesn't like it, so I had Kevin, my yard man, cut it off of her side. But I like it on my side, mainly because my fence is old and the kittens are ripping it apart. So it helps cover and disguise the top of the fence that the kittens are chewing on. I do need to get that replaced. It'll be something next year. I cleaned up these potted plants here. The coleus are looking fine. That coleus got hit by the cats as well as the washing machine delivery man, but it's looking fine. Cleaned up this wandering dude. I do need to prune off some of these suckers on that crepe myrtle. Ooh, there's 2 kitties. There's a kitty here. There's D. I've named my kitty. I've named the 4 little ones. That's D. And in the pot, there are 2. There is the one looking this way is Luna, and the other one on the other side that's laying down underneath Luna, I don't know why in 85-degree heat, is Claire. So if you put them together, Claire de Luna. And their brother, the black and white cat, which you don't see here, I just called Peanut, because he's small and he likes to play with the 3 ginger cats, all boys, that are twice his size. So if he stayed with his sisters, he would look normal. When he plays with the big guys, he looks like a peanut. Planted some caladiums in here. This is a new type, tapestry. Also planted some here, just did them yesterday. Cleaned this bed up. I have not seen Gado, but I keep his water bowl there. Here you can see what the cats did to that crocosmia. If I straighten it up now, the flowers are going to be crooked, but I probably will straighten it up anyway. You can see they're starting to bloom, the orange flowers coming up in the azalea, our crocosmia. I have not seen Gato back since a couple of weeks ago. Herb garden is looking fine. I do need to get in here and prune up my rosemary. I don't know if it's from kittens or whatever, but one rosemary is starting to grow crooked, and I'll want to go ahead and straighten that up a bit. I straighten them up by pruning, selective pruning out the ones that are in places I don't want them to be. Here, the gaura are coming back after the kittens climbed all over them and flattened them. These geraniums are looking beautiful against the purple. No work was done in the garage last week. Oh, I'm sorry, in the garçonnier last week. Garçonniere. Just didn't get around to it. There's no rush. But I did buy all the paint and things ready to paint that closet with the washing machine's going to go in. Hummingbirds do like bougainvillea. I don't know why, but apparently there's something good in them. Here's my original bunch, once moved, of my toad lilies. And this was a clump of crocosmia that I straightened up that the kittens had flattened. Let's look over here. This looks nice now that I have to keep these water baths emptied and cleaned because they get stagnant and green towards the end of the week. All is well in there. This I just did yesterday. We cleaned up this wandering dude and I planted more tapestry here. Tapestry is going to be kind of the theme for the center of my garden. Caladiums, that is. In fact, I'm going to go today and get some tapestry to plant around this fountain. I ran out last night. The nice thing about the weather, the male cycad is not quite ready to come off yet. When it comes off by itself, I'll pull it off and new leaves will emerge. Fountain looks very serene. Everything here is doing well. I wish you could smell, if you had smell-o-vision, these are the fruits of my what is that? That palm tree, the pindo palm. They have a very, from here they have a citrusy smell. They kind of smell somewhere between fresh cut wood and an orange, if that makes sense. They are getting ripe. For some reason, these ripened really fast on this palm versus the one on the far end of the backyard. Hasn't ripened yet. It's been there for a couple of months. And they get spread around by 7 monkeys that I have in the backyard that look for anything to play with. These are looking really good here. The coleus. I'm sure the roots have gone through the bottom of the pot and into the ground, so I don't move them. I did cut a branch off of the cycad. I'll probably cut another one eventually. But back in here, it's all looking nice. The only problem right now is because of this constant rain, you are swarmed by mosquitoes if you sit back here. I do have a mosquito repellent thingy that I bought last year that works fine. You basically, it has a little light inside of it powered by a propane aerosol container, and it heats up a little pad of bug spray. Well, not spray, but bug killer. And you put it on the ground and wait 10 or 15 minutes and it keeps bugs away from you. It actually works quite well. The only thing is you got to put it out about 10 or 15 minutes before you get there. You don't notice a smell. Back in here all is well. I think I will be planting some more of my ginger lilies here. The ones on the deck need splitting, so what I'll do is take one pot, split it in half, and put half and half there. And the other one I'll split in half and put it back in pots. All in here, everything looks good. This I cleaned out last week. The wild wandering dude is coming back. It will give a second flowering. And I planted more caladiums here. They're the same ones I had last year. I put them back. Since they're not coming up, it doesn't make that much difference, but they're Carolyn Wharton. And this little back corner, now that I have this potted plant here, is kind of finishing itself off. So I planted some caladiums around there, some tapestry. Everything. See, this is the other pindo palm, and this fruit was displayed like that about a month ago, but it has not yet ripened. Versus the one on that pindo palm ripened and is dropping already. Go figure. My Canary Island date palm is getting a nice top onto it. I haven't showed you my, it's not an encore azalea, this is a knockout rose. It's a yellow. Got that from Walmart this year. This is coming together nicely. I do have to trim up the Treacleospermum jasminoides. Seems odd to believe I remember that name over jasmine. Treacleospermum. I was so proud of myself to remember that. Here you can see the difference. This large plant over here, as well as this one, are cassias. They're much bigger than the one in the backyard. You can also see that my bottle brush tree is recovering. Still have some blooms on the pink angel's trumpet, but they're looking sad. There's a bunch more to come yet. And my plumeria is looking pretty good. Got a bunch of leaves. I don't know if it's going to have any flowers. It does have a flower stem at the top of this one. However, I think I may have told you many times, plumerias do not like being moved. The leaves seem to come out in a certain direction, facing a certain way, and if you even just cock it to one side a quarter turn, they'll drop leaves, or at least that's been my experience. This, unfortunately, is the third spot this year that I put that here, or I moved it, and so hopefully the leaves will stay, and hopefully I'll get some blooms. I do need to free up this lavender. Lavender does well in pots, needless to say. In zone 9A, more lavender. This is just all grown together like a jungle right now. The blueberries are leafing out. Still got a couple of blueberries here and there. Coleus is looking fabulous here. You do have to pay attention, even though we're getting rain every afternoon. You may not have enough to fill up your potted plants. So you still have to keep an eye on your potted plants to make sure nothing's wilting, because sometimes you get a lot of rain quickly and it's not enough to really wet the pot very much. So I do have to water occasionally my potted things. But yes, a lot has been happening. That pinto palm is looking fantastic in the sun. This crepe myrtle is doing well. It's the same color as the one in the front yard. Although I was sold it as a pink crepe myrtle, it is not pink. It's the same color as the standard crepe myrtle I have in the front yard. The crepe myrtle on the other side of the deck is white. It's not blooming yet. Here all is well. The bananas are coming back. This banana tree, gotta see where I'm pointing, next to the crepe myrtle, I've already cut back once. I may have to cut it back again. The vincas are doing well, but can you tell they do not like to grow in shade? They're all growing towards the sun, and they seem to be able to live with all of the cat traffic. My cardboard palm is doing well. It's got this little male cone coming out. For some reason, the kittens, thank God, have not touched that cardboard palm, because I've waited 3 years for those leaves. And spectacularly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves came up on a cone. These, I believe, are White Christmas, those caladiums. Those I bought as plants, not as bulbs. My pitcher plant's doing well. The pitchers do turn red. I can't understand why it was originally called, was Nepenthes. It had alba in the name, implying white. But they don't look white to me. There you can see the vinca moving towards the sun. I haven't mentioned it, but the row of the circle, half circle of gardenias has done real well over there. Back in here, all is well. There's a bunch of kittens. That one is Luna, looking up here. That's Luna. I haven't named the ginger, so there's a ginger back there. And there's a ginger over there too, hiding. They have beat the heck out of my umbrella plants, I can't think of the name of them, Egyptian papyrus. And I've got the last couple flowers on my desert rose. That has really bloomed for over a month. Kittens don't seem to bother it. They do like boxwoods. They have been seen climbing through that boxwood. They leave the eucalyptus alone as well. You can smell the eucalyptus when you sit in that chair and brush against it. It's a nice thing to have, as Martha Stewart would say. But there you have it for the day. I hope you all stay hydrated. Get out in your gardens and enjoy them this week. It's about all you can do in the heat of the summer. So until next week, take care.